faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books worldwide. Hi, this is Sally with Book Talks. Today I'm going to introduce you to this book called The Competency Trap. The term competency trap is quite fascinating. Most people believe ability is an advantage. Skilled individuals can thrive in any industry and eventually become great leaders. But actually, competence can be a trap too. Once someone falls into the competency trap, they waste time on things that don't lead to growth. This book teaches how to avoid the competency trap and become an excellent leader faster. The author, Herminia Ibarra, is an expert in career and leadership development. She's one of the world's top 50 management thinkers, a member of the Harvard Business School Visiting Committee, and a professor of organizational behavior at INSEAD. In the book, Ibarra uses rich case studies and practical experience to explain what the competency trap is. She believes that to escape the competency trap, start by making external changes and doing what leaders truly should. Such external changes can break mental limitations and foster continuous improvement. This book was named a Forbes Best Book of the Year. It's a Financial Times bestseller and received strong endorsements from Fortune 500 executives like those at Unilever, Siemens, and various CEOs. Next, I'll break down this book into two parts for you. First, what is the competency trap? Second, how can we change from the outside in to become excellent leaders? Let's start with the first part. What is the competency trap? The competency trap means we keep doing only what we're good at because we excel at it. The more we do, the better we get, and the better we get, the more we want to do it. I felt this cycle makes us better and better at our strengths. But we fail to break through in other areas and can't adapt to external changes. To illustrate this, the book gives an example. Jeff, a branch manager at a beverage company, was an excellent sales manager who worked tirelessly, and his boss had high expectations. And but after promotion, Jeff faced major issues. In managing the team, he habitually focused on details. Especially in his expertise, he micromanaged members, worked constrained, and the team depended on him. This hindered development. Members couldn't improve skills, and Jeff got stuck in trivial tasks. He's like a firefighter. When the company lacks clients, he goes to find them. When bills have issues, he deals with them. He always feels that only by personally solving these problems can he be at ease. But Jeff didn't realize he was neglecting more important things as a leader. For example, spending time maintaining relationships with key team members, considering the company's long-term strategic plans, and his own role transition. The predicament Jeff fell into is the competency trap. The essence of the competency trap is actually a mindset fixation. The knowledge, experience, and habits we've formed in the past create fixed perceptions, and these often become stumbling blocks on our growth path. Some people, even when in leadership positions, can't act like leaders. That's why many can excel in their jobs, but may not become excellent leaders. Many leadership training methods tell you that to escape mindset traps, you need to learn self-reflection. But in reality, this inside-out approach isn't a good method because a person's way of thinking is hard to change. Just thinking about it is useless. You have to change externally first, and through external actions, change your mindset. Social psychologists' research has found that external behaviors can bring about changes in inner thoughts. A classic example is the Stanford prison experiment. Renowned American psychologist Philip Zimbardo carefully set up a simulated prison at Stanford University, having students play the roles of prisoners and guards. Eventually, these students deeply immersed themselves in their roles and performed many shocking actions. Those playing guards began to abuse their classmates, while those playing prisoners became timid and fearful. By changing these students' behaviors, the experimenters successfully altered their thoughts. Similarly, to become an excellent leader, you need to act like a leader. For example, actively participate in unfamiliar projects. engage with various people, or adopt new ways of working. Although this process is challenging, new experiences might change your initial thoughts, thereby altering your mindset fixation. Moreover, once you start acting like a leader, people around you will also change their view of you. They'll feel you're more and more like a true leader. This social recognition will make you more confident, and you'll more easily seize opportunities to showcase your leadership abilities, forming a virtuous cycle. So, how should we change from the outside in to become excellent leaders? This is the second aspect we're going to talk about. The author believes that changing from the outside in mainly includes three aspects: redefining your work, expanding your relationships, and changing your self-perception. These three aspects form a mutually supportive relationship, helping you shape your leadership identity. Now, let's start with the first aspect, redefining your work. An important difference between leaders and ordinary employees in the workplace is that ordinary employees' task is to efficiently complete their daily assigned work, whereas leaders must view their work from a broader perspective. They must not only assess the situation and lead the company in the right direction, but also continuously self-improve. This requires leaders to change how they position their work. Don't pack your schedule full, but spend time on things leaders truly should do. The first thing leaders should truly do is become bridge leaders. In many people's view, a leader's role is to set clear goals for the team, assign tasks to each member, establish internal management norms, and regularly communicate to evaluate performance and give feedback. These are indeed things a leader should do, but that's not enough. To become an excellent leader, you also need to act like a bridge, becoming a communication pipeline between internal and external parts of the team. Here, external doesn't just mean outside the company. If you're a department head, company management, or other departments are your external resources. Bridge leaders may not be the best in a specific field, but they can gather talented people, delegate wisely, and place experts where they shine to maximize their talents. To become a bridge leader, you need to participate more in external activities. Through these external activities, leaders can gain important industry info and resources, filter out useful insights, and pass them on to their team. For example, what recent industry trends are happening, what competitors are up to, and what you can learn from them. It can also boost the team's external visibility, enhance their reputation, and even help them gain more support and opportunities. For example, many partners at law firms, besides helping clients handle daily legal matters, also participate in various industry forums and even host small seminars themselves to boost personal and team reputation in the industry. For their subordinates, following such a leader offers more chances to broaden their horizons and join influential industry projects. What leaders should do. The second thing is to propose visionary strategies. Excellent leaders can not only spot problems in company development, but also put forward visionary strategies. Visionary strategies are those that ensure long-term company growth. They're not just a vision for the future, but also involve setting clear goals that decide where the team's time will focus and how to achieve them. For instance, a traditional oil company wanting to develop new energy business, the leader must first figure out what the company is pursuing, its core competitiveness, and what team is needed for the new venture, to then set specific business goals like boosting new energy transaction volume and increasing market share. The third thing leaders should truly do is to enhance influence. The author believes that a leader's influence is determined by three factors: good ideas, the process of presenting ideas, and the leader's personal charisma. Good ideas. As we mentioned before, they're the strategies that help the company's long-term development. But besides good ideas, how the leader presents the idea and their personal charisma also affect whether the leader gains support. And when regarding how to present their ideas, good leaders usually don't directly order subordinates to execute new strategies. Instead, they first listen to others' opinions and explain why they made such strategies. In this process, the audience will judge for themselves whether the boss is reliable and how determined he is. Does he have any good methods for executing this strategy? These issues impact whether a good idea can be implemented. Besides good ideas and the presentation process, the leader's personal charisma is also crucial. Professor Jay Conger from the University of Southern California found that charismatic leaders all share three common traits. First, rich life experiences and firm beliefs. Second, being able to communicate effectively by sharing personal stories. Third, consistency in words and actions. Margaret Thatcher is a prime example. Her life story is legendary. She carved her career in a male-dominated society and became Britain's first female prime minister. And she drove transformative reforms across Britain. Thatcher grew up in poverty. Her home didn't even have running water. Beyond basic necessities, her childhood had almost nothing, so she learned frugality and money management. Her father taught her from childhood not to follow the crowd, but to stand firm. Thatcher rose to prominence not just due to political talent, but because she knew how to use personal experiences to instill her political ideals. For instance, she'd use her own life as metaphor, teaching people about national independence and achieving success through hard work and delayed gratification. And she consistently acted on her advocated principles, easily winning numerous followers. All right, that's the first point about leaders changing from the outside in, redefining your work. But changing how you position work isn't enough to make someone an excellent leader, because becoming a bridge, proposing visionary strategies, and increasing influence can't be done alone. They require others' help. Building strong relationships. This leads to the second aspect of change, redefining your relationships. I think many people undervalue relationship building. Some feel relationship networks have no practical value. Others see networking as exploiting people. Hypocritical behavior. Beyond relationship biases, mindset fixations like narcissism and laziness hinder good connections. We naturally prefer interacting with similar people, avoiding time or effort to understand unfamiliar ones. But if everyone in your circle is similar, ideas homogenize, and resources overlap, you can't offer new perspectives or information, diminishing your value. Conversely, those connecting different circles stand out more easily. Your network doesn't expand automatically. You got to take initiative, step out of your comfort zone, connect with people who are different, are not that close, and build quality relationships that'll help in the future. But when we reveal this comfort, what is the 5 disparity? The authors. Here, we mainly introduce 3 methods. The first method is expanding outward through your existing network. The authors believe that the simplest way to develop relationships is by leveraging your current network to branch out. For example, use company resources to reach clients or colleagues you haven't met, attend alumni events or professional organization activities, or even host your own events to meet new people through acquaintances. This way, you not only grow your network, but also help others connect, increasing your value in relationships. Former Silicon Valley venture capitalist Heidi Roizen is a great example. He frequently hosted dinners at his San Francisco home where half the guests didn't know each other. Through this approach, he rapidly expanded his connections, and his dinners became highly popular local events. The second method for building quality relationships is proactively showcasing yourself. To expand your network, you must actively participate in external company events. But in reality, many attend events with low engagement. Others don't know them, making relationship building impossible. For valuable connections, the author shared his personal rule. He won't attend an event unless he can speak or meet the speakers. Since he can't build relationships there, merely attending isn't enough. You must ensure opportunities to network. For instance, being a host or assistant, speaking up, or asking a great question increases visibility. Only such events hold value. Beyond initiating connections, you must actively maintain them. Don't reach out only when you need something. Keep your relationships alive. For key people in your network, schedule regular lunches or coffee chats. Even if infrequent or brief, it keeps the connection intact. The third way to build quality relationships is to leverage your interests to build connections. Many successful leaders are good at using their personal interests to develop relationship networks. For example, an investment banker invites important clients and friends to watch plays every year, treating them to dinner at a nearby hotel before the show, attracting many who share the same interest. It's no longer every year or year at Stanford. Through these activities, this investment banker successfully expanded his business, and many collaborations were negotiated over dinner. Besides offline activities, you can also use social media to promote your personal hobbies. For instance, create a Weibo account or frequently post on your moments to attract more people with similar interests. But one important point to note is to regularly review your relationships during the networking process. By befriending excellent people, you not only have role models to strive for, but also get help when facing difficulties and challenges. The book gives an example. Molecular biologist Andrew was very interested in commercializing scientific research, but his academic friends despised business activities. So Andrew, through a former partner, met a group of like-minded scientists who all supported commercializing academic research. Andrew preferred this new circle over his old one. Later, members of this new circle established a research center together, aiming to bridge academia and business. Andrew was elected as the director of this center, successfully transitioning. This example tells us that good companions not only set examples for you, but also provide support in crucial times. All right, to summarize, the aspects you need to change to become an excellent leader. The second point is redefining your relationships. That is, starting from your existing network, proactively expand your connections, befriend better people, and external changes will bring internal transformation. When both work and relationships change, it's time to sit down and reflect, turning these external changes into genuine internal transformation. This is the third aspect of change that leaders need to make. Redefine yourself, that is, change your perspective and view of yourself. On the path to leadership, many people fall into a psychological flaw called the authenticity trap. It refers to when a person's actions make them feel like they're betraying their true self and thus fall into guilt. The author fell into the authenticity trap when teaching MBA students at Harvard University. In the author's impression, being a teacher requires not only extensive knowledge, but also diligence and responsibility. So he always spent a lot of time preparing lessons to ensure he could answer students' questions. But because the author's teaching style was too serious and the content too academic, students didn't like listening at all. So the senior professors gave him advice. Be your true self, such as sharing funny stories that happened to him, poking fun at himself, or talking about life experiences and jokes to liven up the classroom atmosphere. Even speaking and walking could be more casual. But the author rejected this advice because he felt this teaching style was far from his values. Later, his relationship with students worsened, classroom interaction decreased, and he had to consider the professor's advice.
Right.
As a result, this new teaching method indeed had a good effect. The classroom atmosphere became relaxed, and students were more willing to listen. Similarly, the authenticity trap can appear in leaders, especially new ones, who may exhibit three behaviors. First, it's hard to maintain an appropriate distance with the team, either too far or too close. If too far, you might not get support from subordinates. If too close with subordinates, you might hesitate to make certain requests directly. The second behavior is feeling like you're controlling others. For example, some feel that selling their ideas or playing emotional cards with subordinates is hypocritical, essentially using others. The third situation is that some people automatically filter out negative feedback, even constructive criticism, and don't listen. Once people fall into the authenticity trap, they become more willing to do familiar things that make them comfortable. They are unwilling to adjust themselves to environmental changes and thus cannot become excellent leaders. So, how to change your view of yourself and redefine yourself? The author proposes 3 methods. The first is to imitate excellent leaders. You can choose a role model, observe their behavior and leadership style, note what you want to learn from them, and imitate how they do things. Through this process, you'll learn to see the world from an excellent leader's perspective and redefine yourself. The second method is to set learning goals rather than performance goals. And learning goals are those that hold real value for yourself, while performance goals are those that make you appear valuable in front of others. Harvard psychologist Robert Keegan and his colleagues found that many people spend a lot of energy at work on achieving good performance, like protecting their reputation or not exposing weaknesses. But this makes people fear failure and unwilling to try unfamiliar or challenging things, like taking on work outside their expertise or experimenting with new business models. But often it's precisely such things that enable genuine growth. The third method to redefine yourself is to learn to tell your story flexibly. As mentioned before, leaders can tell stories based on personal experiences to enhance their influence. But your story shouldn't be set in stone. Since your experiences keep evolving, you should rethink your story to find new perspectives and expand your self-understanding. And you need to continuously revise your story, just like we update our resumes. When your goals change, your story should change too, so you can resonate with your audience. This isn't about making up fiction, but selectively telling stories that serve you better. For example, if you want to become an excellent leader, don't just emphasize how you care about people around you, because such stories limit your image to a friendly colleague rather than a responsible leader. Your story should demonstrate courage and accountability. For instance, your experience living independently in a new city. When rediscovering yourself, treat identity exploration playfully. Approach self-understanding with a gaming mindset. This way, you won't demand rigid self-definition, but enjoy discovering new selves, actually revealing more possibilities. All right, we've covered the 3 aspects of changing from the outside in: redefining your work, redefining your relationships, and redefining yourself. With that, we've pretty much introduced the competency trap. Let me recap the main points of this episode for you. To become an excellent leader, you first need to act like one, taking action before overthinking, changing from the outside in. First, redefine your work. Don't overload your schedule and spend more time on what leaders truly should do, like becoming a bridge leader, setting visionary strategies, and enhancing your leadership influence. Second, redefine your relationships. That means building strong relationship networks inside and outside the company to boost your leadership. Expand through existing connections, leverage your interests to build networks, seize opportunities, and proactively do what matters. When you change how you operate and leverage your network, your inner self transforms too. That's when you learn to redefine yourself. Imitate excellent leaders, set learning goals instead of performance goals, and learn to tell your story flexibly. Remember, becoming an excellent leader isn't instant. It's an ongoing process of testing old assumptions and exploring new possibilities. In this journey, you'll find many things won't go as smoothly as imagined. For example, the massive time and energy spent changing behaviors might leave you exhausted. Or people might prefer the old you, or you'll feel inadequate in your new role, leading to frustration and confusion. You might even need to reset direction after detours. But it's this very process that helps us understand ourselves better and become our best selves. All right, that's the competency trap. That wraps up our interpretation of this book. Notes are below the audio. See you next time.